if we see, so representation is an important element. And by taking it forward, I would like to ask Zubair, what I'm sure it is a very difficult challenge for a person to come out of a closet. How do you see the process of coming out of a closet within your workplace? And what kind of difficulty one might have to go through during this process?
Well, so I think I'm just going to preface the answer by, I just want to say a few things before I get to the question. I think it's absolute joy to be like a complete version of yourself, right? Where at a particular space and situation, I don't have to pick like one part of myself to say that, oh, today I'm going to really put out the queer Zubair, and maybe tomorrow I'll put out the Zubair that's visually impaired, and day after I'll put out the Zubair that, is proud about living with HIV, and then the day after that I'll put out the Zubair, who comes from a Sikh royal family or whatever it is, right? It's these little boxes that I carry with me every day and then pick and choose. But I think Nikita put it very wisely, is that, I'm, at the end of the day, some culmination of all of this. So even at the workplace, and coming to your question, right, coming out, especially for me, honestly, it was a no-brainer, mainly because I could not leave that part of myself away.
Recording in
And
progress.
this is why intersectionality is so important, because despite actually being discriminated against for, of course, my visual impairment, being discriminated, for, and this is the funny one actually, it might not be politically correct, but I was discriminated for being assumed to be, practicing, being a practicing Muslim because I have a name that's predominantly Islamic, but I'm not actually Muslim, but I was still discriminated against because of that name. And I was discriminated because of my visual impairment, but then I said, you know what? This is already there, I still want to come out because I cannot leave parts of myself outside of work and just sort of live this life where I only sort of pick one part of myself. So it is interesting when you do come out, and initially there will be allies, there will be people who get it. A lot of times, and I think the first organization that I came out was when I used to work in advertising, which was thankfully a lifetime ago. And in advertising, I think what I realized is, it's this industry with media and comms, etc. So by virtue of being in the industry, you would assume that people are more open and forward thinkers, etc. But I still found a lot of people who I had to work with on a regular basis who didn't really understand what being queer meant. They knew the terms, they knew that, they've read about it, they've heard about it. But then whatever they read and heard was also the stereotypes. So, which is where representation is very important, actually. And the right representation, right? Because not everyone's a stereotype. So for me personally, I think coming out, while everyone should do it in their own sweet time and when they feel comfortable, I think it's very important that we're talking about intersectionality because it's very closely linked to the ability for someone to come out because they want to accept and they would feel accepted and all parts of themselves feel accepted.